بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. مشاهدينا الكرام، أهلا وسهلا بكم. Ladies and gentlemen, you are most welcome for this episode of IELTS Writing. Mr. Trevor is our guest today. Mr. Trevor, you are most welcome.
Thank you.
I hope people know you, but for those who don't know you, please tell them about yourself.
Excellent. So my name is Trevor Pfahl. I have been teaching English as a second language since 1998. Both in Canada and in Indonesia and the Philippines. I've worked with university students and professionals since 2007 to help them with their IELTS expertise. And in the last 3 years, I've started to train teachers with motivational teaching strategies, reading strategies, writing strategies to help their students in order to expand the knowledge that I've gained and learned so that I can train teachers who then pass that information on to students. So I'm happy to be here with you today, and I'm looking forward to this session.
That's great. So, Mr. Trevor, we have received 2 essays.
Yes.
One is a complaint and another one.
Okay.
And you have marked them.
Yes.
And the idea behind this session today is to show these, to show what was in them. Yeah. I will not say mistakes, but things to be upgraded.
Exactly.
Yes, it's your field. I'm not going to disturb you. Please go ahead.
Okay, excellent. So when students are writing, most often they are thinking of the topic or idea, and then they're writing down what they're thinking. I want to shift that perspective a little bit, because who is your audience? Who are you writing to? When you're doing the IELTS exam, you need to put in the different sections that the IELTS examiner is looking for. Maybe I'll just backtrack a little bit. When I was teaching at English to Enter University for 5 years, the University of Manitoba here, during that time, I helped my students with over 1,000 essays. So they did a lot of writing, but that means that I did a lot of correcting. So I looked to develop a system where what is being looked at very quickly, and how do I see the key areas that a student needs to improve so that they're aware? How do they make changes and then write another draft, and so that they start to progress and move along in their English? So today, as Dr. Smear has said, we have seen there's a complaint letter. In this case, it's an apology. This is taken from an IELTS practice, and so one of my students asked me to make some changes, and I hope that that student is listening right now, because we're going to go through what she wrote and then respond and make some comments. And I look for the positive things as well as a few things to make those changes to get your mark to the 7 or the 8 that you need.
Great. So we will start which one?
So we'll start with the apology. I will read, and if you can, I
will do it.
Have that, yeah, we have it set up so that hopefully as I read through this, that you can also be seeing it where you're at. Okay. So I'll just read the actually what the question is itself. Yes. At the top. So your neighbors have recently written to you to complain about noise from your house flat. Write a letter to your neighbors, and in your letter, and so here's where you identify what are the 3 areas or 4 areas that the examiner wants to see. Explain the reason for the noise, apologize to that neighbor, and describe the action you will take. So I'm looking in this apology letter at the organization. That's the first thing that I try to identify. So if I look through the original essay, we can see that there's a address. It says, Dear Mr. John, comma, and then it starts underneath that. So the introduction section is good. Then the student, and I'm going to read through this so that you hear my voice, just so it helps you a little bit also maybe with listening and pronunciation. I am writing with regard to the noise annoyed you yesterday night, which was due to my daughter Anita's birthday party. Although I have repeatedly tried to decrease the sound's volumes as much as possible, sometimes her mother accidentally opened the window for more fresh air, which leads to more noise leaks to your apartment. So I'm just going to pause there. So there's a couple of areas just grammatically to change, and that is one section that I'll talk about when I talk about the whole. So we apologize, there was a difficulty with the audio. The audio should now be working, but please send us your comments if the audio is not working.
I can hear it here.
Okay, excellent. So I'll just give a quick summary of what we're doing today again, and then we will look at some samples. So my name is Trevor Pfahl. I have been teaching English.
So we go again for the essay.
Yeah, so I will just start with this.
Okay.
So we will look at the changes that I've made to a student's essay that they've sent in, and I will make comments as we, actually, we'll just
work on this one.
We'll just see, so you'll see that I'll read the title and the topic of this question, and then you'll see some of the corrections and changes that I've made from this section.
Okay, it's there.
Okay, so this topic is talking about a complaint letter where an apology needs to be written, and it highlights that your neighbors have complained to you or written to you about noise coming from your apartment. So you need to write an apology letter that has 3 areas to talk about. First, to explain what the noise is or what's been happening with this, reasons. Second, to apologize. And third, to identify the actions that you're going to take. So during the exam, you want to spend maybe 2 or 3 minutes just thinking through those 3 parts and making a couple of notes just to identify, okay, what will I write step by step? Now, when students are writing, they're often thinking, what's in my mind? How can I answer this question? I want to shift your perspective a little bit because you need to also be thinking, who is reading this? In this case, with an exam, your IELTS examiner, the teacher that is marking it, you have to write in a way that shows your ability and has the different pieces or sections that the IELTS examiner is looking for. And so with this example, we're going to go through and see how the student wrote. So in the first section, this student started with Dear Mr. John, so that's a good introduction. She has 3 paragraphs with a sentence in concluding, and then she has sincerely, and she has her name. We've taken out her name for privacy, but it has that information there.
You can show it here.
Perfect, there we go. So in this letter, for me as a teacher, the first thing I'm going to look at, and this is you're marked in 4 different areas. So the first area that I look over is task achievement. Task achievement means, what are the different pieces that you have? Do you have a heading? Do you have several paragraphs? Do you have a conclusion? Or in this case, do you have the sincerely or with respect and then your signature? And do you have information about the problem with the noise, the apology, and then the actions you're going to take? So when I look at that, I've given the student a 7.0 because she has those different areas in her writing. You can see that I've highlighted in yellow some of the transition signals. And so this is where the second area we look at is called cohesion and coherence. We are looking at how do you put the sentences together with transition signals in each paragraph, and then also how do you move from paragraph to paragraph. In this section, I've given her a 6.0 because she does need some more cohesive devices. In North America, we say transition signals. And so you see there's although, there's another, and then one last thing, but she could give 2 or 3 more transition signals within that section. Third is looking at lexical resource. That's a fancy word for vocabulary. So when I'm looking through, she's used good vocabulary, it's clear. This is more of it's not an academic topic, so you're not using formal academic words. This is more of a conversational style of English, and I've given her 6.5 in that. And then as you look for the paragraphs, you see there's a couple of places where I've changed the writing and the wording in red. So I'm just going to go up to the first section here, and we can see that towards the end of the section we have that. So I've added that in, that word. Anita, and I need to make it possessive because it's talking about her birthday, so Anita's birthday. she talked and said volume, sound volume. That's not as common. I can use either word, but I don't need both, so I can just say the sound or the sounds that's coming through. So on her grammar, I've given her a 6.0 because as I look through in each paragraph, her grammar mistakes don't stop her message. I can understand what she's writing and what she's saying, but they do slow me down as I'm reading through that. So in this section, as she's writing, I would give her between a 6 and a 6.5. I think she's done a great job in the different organization and the information she's given. She's answered everything, but a couple of changes with transition signals, which is easy, and then some grammar areas, which is a bit harder to correct. Maybe I'll just comment on that as well. When students come to me and I look through their first writings, I'm not as focused on the grammar section. And the reason is grammar takes a longer time to practice and to see improvements on. But often students are missing the structure, the transition signals, a few different areas it's quicker to make changes to and make your mark higher. So while I work on a student's grammar over several weeks or even 1 or 2 months, I'm looking also to give advice with the organization and cohesive devices where you can see quick improvements even within 1 or 2 essays or 1 or 2 writings. So in this case, there's a few things she can do to make her maybe half a band higher with her transition signals and the phrasing. But it would take probably several weeks of studying the grammar in order to go to a high, like a one-band improvement because of the grammar parts that are there. They're just not written as smoothly as a native speaker would write. So there's the short-term quick, and then there's the longer-term. Both is needed in this section. Okay, and then for this student, what I did is I went to the internet, which is very handy nowadays. I pulled out several websites that have grammar practice, and I gave some phrases and links to different sites that deal with the grammar issues that she has. And so I don't think we'll go into much detail, but just in the first paragraph, as we saw, with using that. So this is called a restrictive clause. And so I gave her some information and examples with that. I also gave some ideas on what are some phrases when you're giving an apology. And it's not because she didn't have them in here, but there's some that are maybe more common or a little bit more a higher vocabulary usage. So that's the way that I help the students to see their mistakes, a bit of advice to improve, and then they can go write another copy or another draft of that.
Good. So this is the first.
Yes. So in about 15 minutes, if you've watched my previous videos, you have 1 hour for the IELTS Task 1 summary. You're either writing a complaint or apology letter for a general academic, or you're writing a chart or a diagram summary for the academic IELTS. And so in this case, this student was writing for general with the apology. Now we're going to move into the essay. So I'll just, all of those we can set to the side, yes. So we're going to look at the essay page, the first page she sent me. Again, I'm just going to read through the question, and then we'll talk about some comments. And if you have questions as I've gone through something too quickly, or you want to ask something, feel free to send us a message right now. And you can also be in touch with us through WhatsApp.
Yes. I'm just looking at if there is any questions. So at this stage, the computer is stuck. The computer is stuck.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yes, so it's this one. Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, so I will read through the question. We will look at the essay, and you'll see it's very colorful because I usually use 2 or 3, sometimes 4 different colors, and it's not all bad. Many teachers have the style of when you see marks, it means that that's negative grammar you need to change or areas you need to improve, spelling. But for me, I use several colors because some of the colors are positive and I'm highlighting what you're doing well, and some of the colors are areas where you need to make a few changes. So with this topic, it says, in many parts of the world, there is continuous coverage of sports on television. Some people believe that this discouraged the young from taking part of any sport themselves. Discuss this view and give your opinion. So I'm looking at, and I'm trying to say in the first 2 or 3 minutes, okay, what is the keywords in the topic? So it's lots of sports on TV. You can watch many sports at any different time of day or night. Some people say that's discouraging the youth from being active in their physical fitness or in their sports. Discuss this and give your opinion. So as I move into the first paragraph, and you can see I've commented on nowadays, just in the top section here. And nowadays is used very regularly in essays. Think of, for myself as a teacher, if I'm looking through 5 or 7 essays, I would guess 4 or 5 of those essays would actually have the word nowadays in it. So I would recommend using a word that's not as common. And in this case, I gave the example about in today's society or in the 21st century. Those are also used by students, but they're less common than nowadays. This student is highlighting and writing down increasing nonstop sports broadcasting. While some students have the idea that this opinion does decrease youth from participating in sports, it is my belief. So she has stated with her thesis statement, what is she going to talk about? Whether the former decide to join or not depends more on his personality. Both views will be further explained in the following lines. So for those who have looked at my previous videos and you've been writing on your own, you'll see that this approach is common. It repeats the information, it gives a bit more specific detail, and then it gives the main idea or the thesis statement, we call it. What is this person going to write on? My comment in this section was to actually say, write a stronger thesis statement, something that's a bit clearer. Just saying both views will be further explained in the following lines is still very general and what many students will be writing. So it's better to say both views will be explained with my opinion showing that students will, I'll go back, with my opinion showing that students participation depends on their personality, not the availability of TV. I'm saying similar things, but I'm just making it very clear in that first paragraph, that last line of the first paragraph, so the teacher knows, okay, this is what I want to talk about. When you're writing an opinion where you have 3 points, I've often said write those 3 points in that last sentence in your introduction, because when the teacher looks at it, now it makes it easier to go to the next paragraph, so I can quickly identify that information. So this student says to begin with, and I think that's good. It has a transition signal, but first of all is a little bit more academic. So she, as you look through this paragraph, is using many different signals. So here we have in green, let me just, so I'll just move this to see that whole paragraph. So we see in green is here, so I have these green parts highlighted. What she's done is she's changed, because we've been taught you need to paraphrase, so don't use the same word over and over again. So she's changed the word young or youth in different wordings. So she's talked about these young, school children, they again. And so I'm just highlighting there in the green the different ways that she's paraphrasing. I've also highlighted in brown for more
relaxation.
Right, for more relaxation. And the previous before that even may hinder youngsters. Those in light brown is excellent vocabulary. So I'm very impressed as I read through this with the different vocabulary words that she's using. It's not more slang or just common English within that. You'll see there's a few areas in red using with, I changed studying to study. In almost all, I've added in there. Satisfied with a, sedentary. So, and because she just said and satisfy, but I need the past tense there. So there are a couple of grammar mistakes, but this is not hindering communication again. This is not lowering her mark down to a 5 or a 4.5. She's still within the 6 or the 6.5 range with her grammar in that area. And I'll give more details about the whole essay. Let's look at her next paragraph. So she highlights, sorry about that.
That's all right.
So she highlights and starts with the word however, which is excellent because that shows me the transition. She's moving from her first opinion and what some people will say now into her second section. So she talks and says however, and then she says in other words. She's going to be paraphrasing, giving information. In red here, I've highlighted with the achieve, I'm just seeing with achieve satisfaction. And then the last sentence there, it has extroverts.
Yes.
Okay, so again, those are good areas that she's moving this the teacher through. And I've also highlighted at the bottom of the page, this can be illustrated by. And that I find is also excellent because you can use, for example, to illustrate, or this is illustrated by, because now she gives a very specific example. And I like her example because she's talking about BBC News, 70%. So she has specific details here in this in a way that's reasonable. Now, sometimes students say, well, I don't know 70% exactly. But when you're thinking of numbers, thinking of details, you can see, well, this, you may not have an exact number, but you can be thinking or using something more familiar to you. In my class, 7 out of 10 students. Or in my family, there are 3 out of 5. So I can be using things that are still numbers and can still be verified even without going to the internet to find a specific example.
Very good.
Okay, so let's look at her last paragraph, and then I'll explain a little bit further what she has said.
1 second, please.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. 1 second. 1 second. We go back again. We kill that echo. The sound. So we have a sound now. You can go ahead.
Perfect.
I don't know, technology.
Yes. So we're going to go up to the beginning of
1
this.
second. You wanted this?
There we go.
1 second. All right.
Perfect. So in her last paragraph, she expands in information. She says further, and you'll see I've changed that to furthermore, just because it's a little bit more academic than further. Parents can be playing a pivotal role. Pivotal is an excellent vocabulary to help with their offspring. So again, that's another word that she is paraphrasing. While there are many factors, and she goes into a bit more detail. My comments here, and you can read through that from it, is this argument is a bit weaker. So she had a good first paragraph, then she's talked about the opposite viewpoint in her second paragraph. She's gone into a third paragraph, but it's not as focused on the question. It's talking about students being good in society, or children being good in society in general. My advice is maybe take this section out because it's not as convincing or compelling. And I find this often when I'm looking through students' writings, their essays. Sometimes they're just writing something towards the end because I need to have it longer, I need to fill in more information. But it actually weakens their overall essay. So when you go back to make changes before handing it in, just glance at your last paragraph. Is this strong, or did I just write it in a hurry? Maybe it's better to take it out and just rely on the first two paragraphs. Or what I suggested to her was the topic of students sitting on and watching sports instead of participating in it. That's directly related to a student's or a young person's health. And we know that the more exercise and interaction you have with other students and teens, that is going to be more beneficial for your health, mentally, physically. And so that would be a strong argument that she could actually focus or talk about in that last paragraph. Okay, so let's go down to the colored boxes where I've identified what I'm talking. So in red,
Give me a second,
sure.
Please. So I need to bring it.
There we go.
Here, and then I have to bring it live.
Okay.
Here.
To
yes.
Show the information. So on the boxes in that section, red was with excellent vocabulary, yellow was the transition signals, green was where she was paraphrasing that term, youngsters or young, and then brown was where there were phrases that were good, but sometimes they're missing vocabulary or had changes that need to be made in that vocabulary. In that grammar. So my comments for her was that she has an excellent overview of the exam. She has great organization, and she has good vocabulary within this part. Some of the areas there could be cleaned up a little bit with just she used whilst instead of while, so a little bit with a few words. For task achievement, I've given her a 6, and this is mostly because of that last paragraph, but also in the first paragraph there wasn't a lot of specific details. The second paragraph we saw, that's 70%, but in the first paragraph there could be more specific details there as well, rather than just general statements. For coherence and cohesion, I've given her a 6 to a 6.5. Again, whenever I'm looking through and in a paragraph I see 3 or 4 yellow words, so transition signals that I've highlighted, that's a good number. And in most of these paragraphs there was just 2 or maybe 3. So that's where she can study that section and improve. And then with lexical resource, this I gave between a 7 and a 7.5. Like pivotal, reiterate. There's several different words here that she's used that are very high-level vocabulary, which is good. And then grammatical range, I've given her a 6. Grammar is not just looking at the words and the phrases, it's also looking at the style of sentence. And I believe in one of my earliest videos, I talked about simple sentences, compound sentences, and complex sentences. And so in this case, they're looking and saying, are you writing mostly simple sentences, maybe 60-70% with a couple of compound and some complex sentences, or vice versa, or the flip, are you writing 50-60-70% of complex sentences, and then the rest are simple with a couple of compound. I can go into more detail at a future time, or I can refer back to that, but those areas we're looking for. And then her grammar does not reduce communication again, meaning I can understand and follow what she's writing. I can identify, oh yeah, this should be a different verb form or a plural or an article, so the different parts, but I'm not pausing and thinking, what is she saying in this sentence? So that is still good. That's where she was given the 6 in that. I want to add all of the marking I give with a caution. And so I'll end this section with this, and then we'll see if there's more questions and some interaction. During your exam, if a teacher gives you a mark in practice, during your exam, your mark could be half a band, so 0.5, or a full band lower. And the reason is the topic may not be as familiar to you. You have more stress because of the pressure of the exam. And it's not as neat as it is when you're in your home where everything is kind of more orderly and you're thinking through calmly. So whenever a mark is given, I always want to be cautious saying this is not 100% the mark you will get on the exam. This is my best estimate of what you have, but it could be a little bit lower, it could be a little bit higher. It depends on the teacher, and it depends on the information that is, what you write when you're doing that exam. So let's see then if there's any questions, comments, and
there is a comment, and it's an important one.
Okay, well,
it's from Muhammad Makkawi.
Okay.
He passed the academic test.
Alhamdulillah. So our friend Mohammed, who has been studying and he's been watching videos that we've put, he's passed. Oh, yes. That's excellent.
He's our cameraman for the full past 7 months, really.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. He did the academic exam. He sent the message just now. Okay. He watched the videos when I gave him, yes. And your comments, last one, yeah. And he did it. Thank you. Congratulations, okay. Muhammad. Yes. And I'm very, very happy because you followed the advice.
Well, when we follow and practice, you need both of those. It works.
I will keep on this now. I'm not going to change the other camera, so I hope we will not have the audio problem. What is this? There's a lag in this page. Yeah, you see, this page is still on this camera.
Yeah.
Very strange, which is we are here.
Okay.
We are live here, we are talking. There is a lag on this page. I don't know why, unless if it is frozen.
That's possible.
Anyway, if I take this one as a source, because this is live now.
Sure.
Yes. I have seen only Muhammad's the comments about the audio. We apologize for the problems with the audio. Really, I didn't know what's happening since I upgraded the software. I mean, 10 days ago.
Yes.
And I'm getting troubles with the audio.
Okay.
It auto selects by itself.
Oh.
If you have more than audio,
yes,
suddenly it opens both.
Okay.
I need to kill one to keep the other.
Yeah.
I don't know. See, this one is late.
Yeah.
This one is late.
Is good.
But for our page, which is our main page, this one, we are here. And for, I hope, our friend who sent the essays.
Yes.
I hope you are satisfied and you got what you want. And your friends, as you commented that they are watching, Mr. Trevor, I have something. I hope I've done it because I wanted to show it here.
Sure.
It's the communication with you.
Okay.
I mean, I need to open it here in a page. Because we have the communication, if you can read it until I bring it as a page on the screen.
So many students have been asking, how do we be in touch with you, and how do we have you helping us with our IELTS programs? So we will give you 3 different ways to contact me. First of all, we have a website. So it's IELTStestprep.webs.com, and we will post this below and have this information.
Yeah, I hope.
So IELTS Test Prep.
I will bring it because I printed them all. So
okay.
I'll bring them from the desktop. I'm looking where did I save them really.
Okay.
Yeah, you can continue reading those.
Also, I am also quite busy as many students come to me and they want one-on-one lessons, and I cannot serve everyone that is coming. So what I've done is I've created packages for writing, for the essay, or for the academic exam, which is the essay and the summary, as well as the listening and speaking. And those are the more common areas students are coming to me for help. I will be posting a reading package at some point. But those are at an affordable cost that have me videoing. It shows me teaching in the classroom. So you would watch the videos on Arab immigrants. But if you buy this package, I will correct 2 essays within that, as well as you will have about 2 hours of watching me in different classrooms teaching these principles, and then there's exercises. So I guide you through step by step, and so it's expanding on what we've talked about previously, and those are the links we will pull up.
You sent it to me on Gmail?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah.
I will look at the
So
Gmail.
we can just...
But the computer is dying, I don't know.
Okay.
Muhammad knows this problem.
And then third way to be in touch with me, so through Facebook, you can either go to my webpage, which is IELTS Test Prep, my Facebook page, so we'll list that. And then you can be asking me questions, or you can link or friend me from that. And then I do have a YouTube channel where I talk about some of these principles and strategies. I also talk about 4 different services and why the service I'm providing is affordable compared to others that are out there, and it's more complete in many ways because of the video package. So you're not just having me correct an essay, you have 2 hours of video that you're watching and learning from me as you go through that. And so there's several different ways, and we will pull it up here shortly.
I'll find your email now.
Sure.
Trevor is here. URL.
Okay.
Look at the computer is dying.
Yeah.
But I'll take these now and drop them in the chat box.
Right. So they will be listed below, and if you do connect in one of those areas, YouTube, Facebook, or on my webpage, then it will link you to some of, they'll link to each of those.
It's dying. It's dying. Look, I'll put them here now. Okay. I hope. Come on. Look.
So it's just a few delays.
Yeah, it's dying. Look.
Okay.
Okay. And enter. Yeah.
So they should show up here shortly. And then you can see the different links to website, YouTube, and Facebook. And from there, it has some links to the packages that I talked about. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I can see those.
I'll go back again here. There are 2 more down. Okay. Any of these you want?
Yeah, let's put those on as well then.
This one?
Yeah, so that's the Facebook page.
Okay. This is the one page which we are writing on. Sorry for the inconvenience, but really, I mean, the computer is doing it with us. Okay, I put this one and
Good.
the last one. So the communication with Mr. Trevor is through these links and page. And do you want to put the email or anything, or up to here?
So if we can go down a little, because there's writing and then the speaking, listening
Okay,
underneath it. So we'll just highlight all three of those down to there.
Here?
Go right to the bottom, because then so my email will also be included in this last section that we're going to paste on. I did notice when we very first started several months ago, the email was at .com, and it actually was at .ca. So if some of you did try to send to my email ieltstestprep@yahoo.com, it may have been returned because it's at .ca. I'm stationed or living right now in Canada, in Winnipeg.
Okay, so in here, I'm putting all the details for anyone who is interested. Yes. And for the generosity of Mr. Trevor, who's doing these classes for you for free, for your benefit. And I understand there are too many people who really got the videos and they said they found their mistakes.
Excellent.
I mean, I'm still asking every one of you to watch the videos. There are 7 of them on the YouTube, our YouTube channel, The Arab Immigrants. All right. Anyone who has any more questions, please just let me know. I don't see any more questions, and I know your time is valuable. I mean, ask for the 12:15,
yes.
And we are passing that with few minutes.
That's okay.
So our fellows who are watching us, we thank Mr. Trevor Pfahl. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you, Dr.
And hope if we get more questions that you come and answer these questions for them.
Absolutely. We thank you for watching, and I look forward to hearing your questions, your comments, and more successes like Mohammed.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, guys. And we are closing our today's session. Hope in a second, because I'm trying to follow the advice of Muhammad Makawi, where he was saying, this is the thing which we close with. Thank you very much.